A group of students file in the classroom and take their seats. As they do so, Professor Summer smiles amiably at them. Hurry up, guys! We have a lot to do today, and I want to let you out early for the Christmas feast. The students' ears prick up at this. One brazen student decides to speak up.
Professor, why do we even have this feast? Everyone knows Christmas is just another ploy by marketing companies to get you to buy ridiculous amounts of things that you don't actually need and will never use.
Instead of getting upset, Professor Summer sees this as a moment for storytelling. Well, it's a time for being with friends and just having a good time. Why, I remember... Well, we don't have time for stories.
Tell us!
Summer's grin broadens. Very well then, it all started one Christmas day many, many years ago. Professor Summer closes her eyes, absorbed in the memories. The Great Hall is finely decorated for the holidays. A dozen trees surround the room, fairy lights making everything shimmer almost magically. Amid this splendor, Professor Summer approaches the table that has been conjured. A couple of members of staff have already made it to the table. Hope and Leafy, in charge of the Hogwarts Drama Club, are deep in conversation. They look up as Professor Summer approaches. They give off an air as if they've been caught with their hands in the cookie jar. Professor Summer raises an eyebrow at the shifty pair. And what brings you two here so early?
Nothing, Professor.
We just didn't want to be tardy, Summer.
Professor Summer eyes them suspiciously. Then what are you two talking about?
Production stuff.
That's right, production stuff. Our next installment of our current project is getting underway in the new year. We want to be ready.
But you're 10 minutes early.
Think again.
Leafy points toward the Great Hall doors, where a group of 3 other people are making their way over. Fox, Mystery, and Laika each arrive.
Hey, how's everyone?
Clearly, everyone is fine, Foxo. Let me do my Dobby voice though, and I guarantee that everyone will be laughing in 2 seconds.
Professor Summer surveys the group and seems to notice that someone is missing. Where's Cass? Late again? Leafy makes a big sigh. As the 3 newcomers sit, Mystery rolls his eyes.
She's late to class 2 or 3 days a week, Summer. Not that it matters for this.
Professor Summer nods in agreement.
Well, we have almost everyone, and I, for one, am absolutely starving. Who's ready to get this going?
Let's do it. I'm so glad we can do the meal this way again. Last year we had to eat at the regular tables because of social distancing. It was a bit depressing. Professor Summer gestures dramatically, and the table is covered in an overflowing array of delicious foods. Everyone fills plates as the conversation continues.
I'm curious as to how a disease from muggles wasn't able to be stopped by wizards. Don't we have the spells available to cure someone from something that, while dangerous, is really not a whole lot worse than, say, pneumonia?
I've wondered that myself.
I'm not a medical expert, but as far as I'm aware, physically we are no different from muggles, so we can still contract the same illnesses. It is also a new strain, so that may explain why we can't effectively treat it.
Yeah, I guess that makes some sense. Somehow I just thought wizards and witches would be kind of immune to most diseases.
No one's immune to changes, Mystery. We all have had to make a lot of changes to deal with everyday things safely since the pandemic began.
Just then, the doors of the Great Hall open for the final time, and a girl frantically makes her way over to the table and sits between Hope and Mystery.
I'm here.
Glad you made it, Cass. Please, eat. Cass whispers something to Hope, and she nods enthusiastically. She ignores the curious looks everyone else gives her as she digs into her plate.
So, shall we talk about the year?
Everyone is confused as to what she's trying to say. She swallows and repeats.
I said, shall we talk about the year?
Understanding her finally, everyone nods. Indeed, a lot has happened over this last year. We've grown exponentially, for one. We've started up lots of new clubs and the like.
Our drama club is doing swimmingly.
Hope nods in agreement.
I was absolutely terrified to take that over from Summer. I have to admit I was excited too, but I just didn't want to let everyone down. I'm glad I have Leafy in on this. My American brain would never catch all the Irish awesomeness he brings to the table.
Oh, it's nothing. I'm glad to be doing this.
Well, you've done quite well, and while you're still in process, you two will do an amazing job on your own now.
Thanks, Foxo. That's good to hear.
And it's true. But speaking of Americanism, this last year has been a huge year of turmoil and change for us on the home front.
I'm glad we're all over here, so we don't have to deal with that mess.
I think America is in the midst of a midlife crisis.
At least you got rid of the cheese hair excuse for a leader you had before.
I was one of the ones anxiously following along with the counting and electoral college tallies. It's a ridiculous process.
I think a lot of people felt that this election was really important and made sure to vote.
I know I did. It felt very important to make sure my voice was heard.
Voting is extremely important. I'm very glad we've got someone much more competent in charge now. For a while, everyone lapses into silence as they devour their plates. Finally, after taking a drink of his pumpkin juice, Foxo lets out a huge stretch.
The house elves outdid themselves today for sure.
I'm glad the house elves are willing to do this. I mean, I know they get days off and can wear something besides dirty bed sheets, but it's still a little bit sad they don't have a choice in the matter.
Cass nods in agreement.
House of Right have come a long way in the last decade for certain.
I hate thinking of anyone being forced into doing anything.
That is a shame. We can only hope things will change in the next few years.
Speaking of the new year, I'm just going to tell you all that we're going to do our next installment of our production very quickly into January.
Yeah, so if you want to join in, or know someone from other performances.
I was in a play called Breakfast in Bed once.
Hope perks up at hearing this.
Oh, did you have a big role?
No, just some toast with a bit of butter.
Everyone laughs heartily at this. Leafy then clears his throat and everyone quiets.
I had one thing to ask before we head to bed. I wondered if any of your families had any holiday traditions you'd like to share.
I usually just go over to my aunt's and hang out with my family. We have dinner and stuff like that. It's a good time usually.
In my family, we have some nice dinner, and then we go to sit around the Christmas tree while opening gifts and listening to Christmas songs.
My family isn't Christian, and we never had enough money to buy a Christmas tree and gifts for everyone, so we never really got around to celebrating Christmas properly. But we do have a wonderful Christian community nearby, and I started volunteering at their routine food drives in 2018 or 2017. They stopped for a while in 2020, and I couldn't go volunteer without getting vaccinated first. So now that I have, I look forward to volunteering this weekend.
My family really doesn't have any Christmas traditions. I have one that I usually do, which is to watch every Doctor Who Christmas special before Christmas Eve. And the only other one my family does is to go to my grandparents and open their presents.
During the Christmas Eve, my family comes to my house for the Christmas celebration, because my house is bigger than my uncle's, and we eat a lot. For this reason, we have a quote-unquote tradition, where we try to lose as much weight as we can for the celebration, so we can eat turkey until it comes out of our ears.
It's getting late. You should all be in bed.
Hey, most of us here are full-grown adults, you know.
Despite this, everyone grabs a last bit of food or drink before standing.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
everyone.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
As the group heads for the door, Hope, Leafy, and Cass linger a bit further behind. As Mystery reaches the door first, large plumes of confetti and glitter shaped like knives materialize and explode over their heads. What in the world?
Who did this?
Everyone looks back and sees the guilty trio.
Just a bit of Christmas fun.
We'll never be able to get rid of all this glitter.
The three stand there, proud of their handiwork. The next day, back in the classroom, Professor Summer faces her students once again. She has a grin on her face, as if she's almost resisting the urge to laugh. We were angry at them for a while, but eventually we started seeing the funny side of it. Professor Summer's classroom door opens, and Hope and Leafy enter.
You wanted us to come to your class, Summer?
Professor Summer gets a mischievous grin on her face, and she turns once again to her students. That, and I'm about to give them a taste of their own medicine. You guys are dismissed to the feast. Hope, Leafy, yes, glad you made it. There's some business we must discuss.